Hey y'all. So I just got off the phone with my child's father and things like that. So we were talking about, we was talking a little bit. We was talking about our daughter, and then it went to a topic. I was scrolling on Facebook while I was talking to talking to him at the same time, and I saw these dogs, and there's a person in the apartment complex they're selling some think I don't know what type of dog it is, but it's like, I don't know. It's like a short pit bull, or one of those stocky short arm pit bulls, I think, or something. And she had puppies, and uh, two of them passed away. The guy was able to sell two. He still got four left. And I asked him how much is it, and he said 2,500. He was like, nobody buying them, nobody buying them, nobody buying them, nobody buying them. And I was like, okay. I said, you feel like someone's not buying them because you feel like you don't have the 2,500. And he did want one of the dogs. But I told him, I said, you don't have 2,500. You can't assume that nobody has 2,500. And some people are making payment plans for the dog, right? So maybe the person did a contract like, I sold you this dog, you're paying these payments. If you don't, you're going to go to court, blah, blah, blah. Probably something like that, right? If he didn't, he's stupid for not putting that as the foundation. So I was talking to him, and I was like, it's like, just because you don't have 2,500 for a dog doesn't mean that nobody else has it. And then where we live at, like, that's where I'm gonna move, once things get rocking, because where I live at, it is a lot of low income type of people. And no offense, because look, I'm there, but look, I'm doing things to rise. Okay, we do things to rise, and this is what I'm trying to talk about going into. We do things to rise. We don't look back anymore, because we continue to look back in our past. That's why depression, stagnancy, and things like that holds us back. Shame, guilt, all of that crap holds us back, and we feel inadequate of moving forward in life because we're so stuck on what we did, who we had kids by. We're stuck on who we was in the past. That's not you anymore. Okay? And I'm going to get into that in a second. So I hung up. I was like, oh, I just hung up the phone on him. I had to take my child into daycare anyway. And I was finna hang up anyway. He got upset. He don't like when I hang up in his face. And most of the times when I hang up in his face, because I'm irritated, or I'm annoyed, or I'm just like, this conversation needs to end. Because, like, I'm not listening to that broke shit. I'm not listening to that brokenness. When you are elevating in life, when you are speaking these affirmations to yourself, you're not being who you used to be, the low income chick or the low income person no more. You don't see yourself as that identity. So you see yourself, because look, in the word, it says that as a man speaketh, he is. As a woman speaketh, she is. So if you identify yourself as rich, wealthy, and all that stuff, things around you are going to match that energy. You will start to see things around you match that energy, y'all. And if you think I'm lying, talk about your favorite car. Talk about a car that you want to get. You will start seeing that car more often. You see how the energy works? It's true. It's no woo-woo. It's none of that. It is law. It is how it is. When you have energy all around you, you are energy. So when you are thinking of something that you desire and you want, you are going to see it. Most of the time, you're going to get it. Maybe not $1 million, maybe, because you might be irresponsible with money. So you may get increments of that $1 million. You may not get it in a lump sum, but when you add up all the blessings of every dollar that you've gotten in the past year or two, and you add that up, maybe that totals out to be $1 million. Shit, I don't know. But anyway, back to the conversation. So I hung up. He texted me. He was like, He was like, you treat me like a bum and da da da. He was like, that's disrespectful. You hanging up in my face. I help you with this. I help you with that. And another thing about these dads, these bummy like dads, these dads that get mad at you for reflecting what they are, who they are. Baby, I didn't call you no bum. All I said, if you just because you don't have the $2,500 for the dog doesn't mean that somebody else has it. Me. I pressed the button. A lot of the times we get triggered. That's a trigger. We get triggered because it's something that we're anointing ourselves with. You got triggered. You thought I called you a bum because you probably already feel like that. See, when the trigger happens, the person already feels like that. Already is floating in the misery, in the whatever it is, in that the trauma, whatever it is, and they get triggered by it because you say something and they take it out of proportion. I didn't say you were a bum. All I said was just because you don't have $2,500 doesn't mean da. And this person, I ain't gonna try to tell us too much of his business, but this person, I mean, if the shoe fits, and I see that the shoe fits, but I didn't say that you was a bum. You're triggered. You're triggered because the words I said and how I went about it, it pushed your buttons because you already live in that state. But I don't know what you're doing behind closed doors to get out of that state. And if you are triggered, that means you have not healed. You're not really doing anything to get out of that state, to not allow yourself to be triggered, to move forward, to move on. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting to? I'm using him as an example for all of us. Okay? And yeah. So you have to just be aware. Because when you're not self-aware, you're literally just a walking trigger. Everybody has control over you. Everybody has control over you. Life has control over you. I had to learn. Stop letting life dictate my moves. Well, we create the ripple effect. We cause and effect. You didn't learn it in school? Did you learn cause and effect in school? We're literally living cause and effect. We do something, it bursts the effect. There's a cause, it bursts the effect. And we say, well, life is so hard. Baby, life ain't doing nothing to you. Life is not doing anything anything to you. Okay? We do it to ourselves. We do it to ourselves. I mean, we allow people and things and places to have power over us, and we don't exert that power. We don't make the power. We don't stand in the power. We don't execute the power. We don't hold our control over ourselves, over our action, over our emotions, over our mental. We don't. Do we even do what we need to do? Do we even do what we need to do to bring forth what we desire in our life? Or do we constantly complain that it hasn't happened yet? Do we constantly complain that it hasn't happened yet? Well, it ain't going to happen without a cause. It ain't going to happen without some action. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Let me tell you something. And I was doing the same exact freaking thing. Okay? I was doing the same exact thing. And if you are not in therapy, get into therapy. If you are not talking to a psychiatrist or whatever like that, well, I don't want to talk to no therapist. All they're going to do is write notes on the pad and reflect back to me what I just said. Okay, true. But they're writing notes so they can be able to give you feedback. They're writing notes so they can be able to. Therapy is a self-awareness in itself. That therapist is literally trying to make you aware of the things that you may be doing that's causing you to be stagnant, depressed, mentally, or whatever. We're trying to find a solution. That's all therapy is. We're trying to find a solution. And if you don't need a therapist, if you don't need a medium, if you don't need a guide, if you don't need a mentor, if you don't need then you need to be doing the work for yourself. And a lot of time it is a lot of work. So it's going to be blood, sweat, and tears because you're doing it all by yourself. You don't have to do it all by yourself. Go get that therapist. Go get that guy. Go get that life coach. Go get that mentor. Because trying to figure it out all by yourself, sometimes we're still left confused and we're still feeling like we're walking in circles and on this treadmill or on this whatever, because we're so stuck on confusion. We're trying to figure out, and that adds on to the low vibration. That adds on to feeling like, I'm so tired, because you're constantly trying to figure out. Get the help. so the medium can figure it out, help you figure it out for you. And I say this because I'm sitting down, I'm talking to my mentor. I'm like, okay, why do I feel so low vibrational? Is it my medicine? Is it this? Blah, blah, blah. Not low vibrational, but low energy. And I'm like, ding, ding, ding. And I keep seeing vitamins. I keep seeing vitamin D3 and how black people and all this stuff. So a lot of times, Spirit, God will give you the answers through social media, especially if you're on your phone so much. That's how they can squeeze in that message, squeeze in the answer. That's how God does it. If you don't pay attention, have self-awareness and pay attention to the answer. You answer to your prayers. Why do I feel so low energy? I'm seeing vitamins and all this stuff and detox, all this stuff. Okay, I'm doing a detox. I'm taking the herbal teas. I'm doing this. Okay, I'm still feeling like this. I'm taking the multivitamin. I'm still feeling like this. Okay, I go to bed early. I still feel like this. I'm taking naps. Still feel like this. And one thing I had to stop doing is putting so much on my plate. Okay, I diminished that, right? So, as a black woman, a black people, we have a lot of melanin in our skin, obviously, right? So we're outside compared to a person who's lighter skin or white. That person is getting more of the sun into their being than we are. It's hard for us to absorb vitamin D from the sun. So mind you, I'm not outside like that. I'm inside, I'm working, I'm in the house, I'm not inside, it's hot, I'm not outside like that, right? So I was like, okay, I was just getting this feeling like, go buy some vitamin D3. Let's see what it is. It's trying different things. I've tried this. I go in the store, buy me some vitamin D3. I was going to buy it from the Black Girl Vitamins because I bought me a set of vitamins from them a while back. But I'm like, I can't wait on it. I need energy now. Okay? So, I went into the store with my kids. I bought my vitamin D3. And I took my vitamin. I took 3 of them. It says you could take 2 to 3. I took 3 gummies. And I was like, okay, I feel like I'm feeling something. I'm like, maybe it's all in my mind. Maybe this is a placebo effect. I don't know. But I'm like, oh, I feel a little bit of jolt of energy. Then I got a little bit more energy. And then I drank a Red Bull, so that added on the energy. And here I am today. Instead of waking up feeling like tons of bricks are sitting on my chest or on my body, I woke up like a freaking spring chicken. Did my car just go off? That's weird. Oh, maybe my car goes off because I ain't moving. That's weird. Look, I just got a new car, y'all. So I don't understand these cars. It went off, I guess, because I'm not moving. I don't know, but I'm finna move now. I don't know what this is. Now I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. Like, oh, I started driving. It's gonna go off again. I'm like, oh my gosh, help, help. Anyway, so, what I was finna say. Yeah, so I rose up like a spring chicken. I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I finally found the solution. I finally found the antidote. I took 3 of them today, and we're gonna see the process, because I really feel like that's what it is, honestly, is that I'm deficient in vitamin D3. And when you don't have vitamin D3, you don't absorb it like that. And anybody, it don't matter about skin color, anybody can be deficient in vitamin D3, right? Try it, but if you're deficient in it, you can get into depression real easily. You can have low moods, mood swings, highs and lows. Your bones can, especially I'm on Zepbound, so I definitely need that, because it helps support your bones. And also I take magnesium too. So magnesium also helps your bones also. People will say, oh, people will be against like the Zepbound or the GLP-1s and stuff, because they're like, oh, that's gonna, they be posting pictures. Another thing, I also want to say this. Another thing, I will make another video about this, but I'm just gonna say it. It's nothing to make a video about. When it comes to what somebody else is doing, why does it concern? Why do you want to be in that energy? Why do you want to be the dictator in that person's life? Why do you want to try to make that person feel bad for the choice they made? For instance, if me posting like, oh, I'll take Zepbound, girl, let me tell you. And this girl was jealous anyway. She a jealous ass hater anyway. But most of the people who talk about people taking GLP-1s, because for one, they wish they could take it. They can't afford it, right? They can't afford it. And how do you know you can? Have you even did research to see if you can even, what options you have out there? Because I know one girl, she told me her sister bought the GLP-1 offline from a doctor, doctors that are online, and she pays just $300 for a 3-month supply of GLP-1, or less than that. They're making it more affordable for people who need to lose weight, right? Even doctors, they try to discount it for you, because especially if you're really, really overweight, you gotta ask instead of getting mad. And I'm just using this as an example. People get mad over things, like, just say that you just realize, just have the self-awareness and pull your strap up to your ankles, whatever it's called. I don't know what that saying is called. To your own it. Own the shit. Own it. If you jealous, sit back at home and be like, reflect on your day. My damn, like, spirit, God, whoever, I really got jealous of that girl. What's in me? What am I not doing in my life? And why I don't like her so much? We don't want to do that. Because we are afraid of gaining the power. You afraid of having power. Honestly. That is power. To sit there and reflect. Why do I not like her? Why am I so jealous? The power comes into you actually finding what is missing in your life. You get what you want. You get what you just finally desire. Taking the action, taking the step forward. Now you got it. Now you ain't even worried about that girl. You're not even worried about nobody taking Zepbound, because you finally got it. And I'm gonna give you an example. I work with this lady. She was my boss. Child, I'm sorry for laughing, because she just spewed hater all over me. She vomited hater all over me. every time I talked about something that was benefiting me or getting me by in life or whatever, she wanted to say the opposite of it. Damn, I'ma just not say nothing to your ass, because you always trying to say, well, 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 and then when she do agree, she just be like, I can see that, or that makes sense, like in a way where it's just like, okay, I guess, but she said it in a professional way. I'm like, girl, and she's a black woman, older than me too. You know, I was telling her I'm on a weight loss shot. I wear makeup every day, especially because I'm a beauty consultant. And then she was like, oh, child, everything I freaking said, we was out on an outing, everything I freaking said, she wanted to tear down. I think it was 3 things that she tore down, right? I'm going to give you an example. And this is an example for your life. Have self-awareness for this. Own up to your own shadow and to the own darkness that you are living in, and make it into light. Alchemize it so you can grow in power, y'all. And power doesn't mean you being evil and dictator and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. Without the power, you're being that. Because power doesn't mean tearing down someone. Power doesn't mean holding somebody captive and killing and stealing and destroying. That's not fucking power. That's immaturity. Because you don't have what you want. You think you have power of controlling someone, controlling a man, bringing a baby in a life. You think you have, that's not power, sweetie. I'm just giving examples. Okay, just throwing out examples. But that's not power. It's not. Being evil, holding somebody captive, trying to take somebody else's power, that is not power. It's not. Strategically, getting what you want in this world, hell, there's a book. Read the book, Art of Seduction. It talks about that. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So we was on an outing. We were on an outing, and we were sitting down at the table eating our food or whatever. And I'm happy, I'm bubbly and things like that. And so I started talking about makeup. So she don't wear makeup. She don't do anything to her face. She don't take, oh, we was in the office, and I'm going to get back to the story. We was in the office, and me and the girl, we was excited. We was like bubbly, and we was talking about taking collagen and peptides. And she was like, what is that? And mind you, she's 50 something years old. She was like, what is that? I'm like, oh, collagen and peptides, it helps you have a glowy skin. It helps your bones. But we were really egging on and having beauty, right? Because collagen, when you start taking collagen, man, your skin will start to glow. But you got to drink a lot of water too, of course. So she was like, I don't need that. I never needed it. I don't need it. I'm thinking in my head, you sure? Because your face peeling, honey. You don't have no type of moisture on your face, on your body, on your skin. And your skin is dull. That's what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, okay, whatever. Then that's on you. Because, baby, if I'm 50-something years old, I'm taking all the vitamins. I'm taking all the stuff that's going to make me and my insides moisturize. Especially if I have a husband, I got to have my coochie wet. You know what I mean? Sorry, YouTube. But anyway, she was talking about she don't drink water. How you not going to drink water and you a woman? I mean, everybody should drink water. But how you not going to drink water? I can't drink water. I don't like drinking water. There's ways to implement things in your water, fruit, to make your water taste right so you can drink it. Anyway, I'm getting off a tangent. So we was at the outing, and I was talking about makeup. And she said, so I don't wear none of that stuff. Okay, great for you. I don't need none of that stuff. Okay, great for you. If I feel, she said, for a person, one of those naysayers again, for a person to wear makeup, it just shows that you're trying to be something else and not your true and fake self. And then she started going on a tangent about how she knew one of her friends who wanted to get cosmetic surgery in a BBL, and she died. How did that go all the way until freaking like what? I'm like, okay, if you don't want to wear it, don't wear it. And then she started talking about when she went to prom, she had a sew-in and she had some makeup on. And she went home and she scrubbed all that stuff off and she ripped the sew-in out her head. I'm like, God damn, do beauty make you feel some type of way? Like, gosh. But anyway, and she's not an ugly woman. She's not, but she don't take care of herself. And that's crazy. Anyway, and I'm gonna get to it. So then we started talking about weight loss. The girl at the office, she said that she buys her stuff off the black market. I'm like, okay, great for you. But I was talking about me losing weight and how it made me feel and blah blah blah. I had to lose the weight. I had, exercising and stuff. I'm like, ooh. Yeah. I mean, I do exercise. I move around. Ooh, and especially I dance in the house. I be sweating and everything. So I do exercise. So she says you're cheating. I feel like taking that is cheating. I feel like that's cheating. I feel like I will feel bad. And as she's saying that, I'm looking down at her stomach and her body. This lady is shorter than me. I'm 5'4". I think she's 5'5". I mean, not 5'5", 5 foot. And she was like, that's cheating. I'm looking down at her. I'm like, you look like an egg with skinny arms. You look like Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm looking at this lady. I'm like, but you are trying to literally lose weight, and you've been feeling down because you feel like me, and then you're talking against it because I'm vibrational about it. I'm talking about the benefits, right? Then the last thing, we started talking about friends. I said I don't really have friends. I said I feel like if you don't have friends when you were like in high school and y'all don't grow up together, you're most likely staying friends with that person. You're more likely staying friends with that person for years, because she's friends for people from high school. I said I tend to see people who are friends from high school stay friends, or friends from school or elementary school stay friends until they're in their older age. But me, that was opposite. Because I'm the type of person where I used to attract a lot of people who just wanted to use and all that stuff like that. And I stayed in their energy, and I allowed them to basically use me. But now I don't do that no more because I didn't have no boundaries back in. But anyway, so she gonna say something. Child, listen, I wanted to laugh. I didn't even get mad at it because I'm like, girl, you just basically telling me everything how you feel about yourself. So she said people who don't have friends don't really know how to be a friend. I said, no. I said, I have a little bit of trauma from, and trauma is a crazy word to use, but I have some past interactions with people that were supposed to be friends, and they broke my heart. And when they broke your trust, they betrayed you, you got into fights with them and everything, and they made you upset, and just make you feel like you wanted to isolate yourself and not be friends with those people, not be friends with no more women no more, right? And especially if you come from a home, like for me, I came from a home where my mother was very emotional, like very emotionless. I think that's the right word. My mother was not there. My grandma raised me for a short period of time, and then she passed when I was 12. And then after she passed, I started to rebel. And I'm pretty sure my mama told the whole family, like, oh, she's bad, blah, blah. No, child. No, child. I rebelled because you wasn't showing me the love. You wasn't emotional. You didn't give two craps. You were too busy chasing men. You were too busy chasing a man to try to fill a void in yourself, and was not paying attention to your kids. I was crying out for you. I wanted the attention. I wanted the love from you. So I tried to seek it somewhere else. But that's healed. That's no longer around. I don't feel no way against it or whatever like that. Because look, my mom did the best she could. I mean, hey. Anyway, I healed from it. So She was like, you don't know how, people who don't, I'm like, girl, you throwing the jabs back to back. You literally throwing the jabs back to back. And I say this because now the girl from the office, she's telling me, she's literally telling me that the person who used to be my boss is now inquiring about taking the GLP-1 in the weight loss shot because she's been going in back and forth to the doctor. Maybe the doctor is saying some stuff, I don't know. And now she's inquiring taking that. Okay. And I remember when I walked into her office one time, she was wearing some colored lip gloss. I said, oh, look at you. And she said, yeah, I'm just trying something new. And I say this because we tend to do this. We tend to do this. Well, not me. You probably tend to do it. I don't do that. But women tend to do this. And men too. But this is a woman's channel, okay? This is Moms on the Mission. Okay? Women tend to do this. Like, you have to have the self-awareness. Like, why am I feeling like this? Because when you're around people and you're talking, you're also letting people realize, like, damn, she's a freaking hater. And now those people who are your friends, now those people who, they're literally observing you. They're observing you to see how they can take advantage, where your weak spots are, and things like that. See, y'all don't think about that stuff. Your own friends are keeping count of the times where you hated on someone. You was jealous of someone. Now, if they're not good friends and they're egging on the whole crap, what you think's going to happen to you with that friend? They're going to use some strategic thing or some action to manipulate you in some way for you to do their bidding and things like that. You forget, just because you think you may be venting, really sit and really think, like, am I venting or am I hating? Am I jealous? Am I missing something in my life? Am I really obsessive over this person? Because people are watching. They're listening. And the people who are watchers and the people who are listeners, they feed on that. And I bet you didn't even realize it. So what I'm saying, all why I'm saying this is, instead of sitting there complaining, instead of trying to pull other people into your pool of mud, saying that nobody's buying that, the whole economy is up, is crazy, is poor, it's da-da-da-da. There's no excuse no more. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. We like to use these excuses to validate where we are right now. And that's the reason why you lose people in your life. The people who wants to rise, that's the reason why they go their separate way. That's the reason why the stranger on the street who's trying to feed, or the mentor who's trying to feed you, that's the reason why they go away. They don't want to mentor you no more. They don't want to talk to you anymore. They don't want to be next to you no more. They don't want, because they don't like the whole vibration that you carry. You use the excuse of not moving forward. So you don't move forward. You're just going to keep sitting there and complain and throw a fit and be like, oh, broke this, broke that, da-da-da-da-da, right? Because something's missing. You're going to keep getting mad about it. Okay, keep getting mad about it. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change if you're not changing. And then you want to project and you want to turn it back around and see how my child father turned it back around on me. You're disrespecting me. Baby, I didn't say anything to you. You called yourself a bum. I didn't say like, you literally just called yourself a bum. I didn't call you a bum. If the shoe fits, I mean, hey. But then again, you allow people to have power over you, because in that moment, I could dominate him. I could have power over him if I wanted to in that moment, or later down the line. I could use it against him, where he's crying out, "You calling me a bum," or he's basically subliminally saying, "Damn, just because I live with such and such, just because I do this, just because I'm not going to work every day, just because I'm not doing da 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 da. Okay, I'm a bum, but you don't need to tell me or show me that I am, or da da da." I'm like, boy, nobody said. You're basically saying that you are, and you're mad because I don't know, somehow, I don't know, I'm not, but he thinks that I am calling him one. And I can take that and use it for my advantage. People around you, they hear that. If he would have said that out loud and his friend was around, or somebody was around him, they could snicker a little bit, and then they could use that to their advantage. People do that. So how can I use that for my advantage? By constantly just bringing up certain things that trigger it, and then make him do things. It's either A, he stays stuck by the trigger and let himself, end, or it could be on the other arm of the spectrum. Sometimes things like that, if I'm, things like that, if he assumes that I'm calling him a bum, sometimes that motivates people to do what they need to do, because they don't want to be looked at as a bum. And on the other end of the spectrum, if somebody's calling them a bum, they take on that name and they continue to live that. So yeah, I can't think how I could take advantage of that, but you get my drift, y'all. I'm not gonna do that. But, y'all have a good day.